Also, as we sort of do this tour, keep a lookout for how people react to us, right? If we ever see sort of another bus out driving, we like to wave as much as we can to them. And when we go into the water, we might have to move some people around so it's safe and stuff. Because this is going to turn into a boat.
Touchdown, Sweden! Saan ka na? Sweden!
Ana, punta na kami sa underwater bus, di ba? Tama ba, ma'am? Underwater bus.
Amphibious bus.
Ah, amphibious bus. Ano ba tawag doon?
Amphibious bus.
Ah.
Kasi pwede siya
pumunta sa tubig. Okay. Ano? Of course, Olaf. Ba? Ganda. Ano ang tawag dito, ma'am? Amphibious bus ba?
Amphibious bus.
Tama.
I want the children by the window and the parents on the aisle seat. Please sit far back in the
pinakalikod yata tayo eh. Saan tayo? Saan ba tayo? Ah, dini daw, sa likod daw. Sa likod ng bata.
Dito ka.
We're just going to turn my microphone down a bit so we don't ruin your ears and your hearing on this tour. Is that better? Okay. Let's go, everyone. We're going to wave goodbye to the beautiful water. And if you look to your right, that's actually where we're going to be later in Djurgården. Because this tour is going to be partly on land and partly on water. It's sort of a whole business idea. And I think the captain just has some final things to fix. Perfect. And when we go into the water, we might have to move some people around so it's safe and stuff. Because this is going to turn into a boat. Yeah, so it doesn't lean. But yeah, that's not ideal. Alright, so let's listen to some music and start heading through the city. Our city's about 1/3 water actually, so it's quite special. Also keep a lookout to your left. That's one of the cutest cafes here in our city, called Fåfänga, with a great view if you have extra time later. And it's actually where we used to behead people back in the day. But now it's a lovely cafe for you to visit. everyone to the ocean bus Ian. This bus is really heavy, okay? It weighs about 10 tons without us on it. So that's like heavier than an elephant, alright? And it's gonna be 3.5 meters tall now and 2.5 meters when we go into the ocean. And right now it's not so picturesque, but that's gonna change as soon as we sort of get into Stockholm. Alright everyone, welcome to Stockholm. Take a look at this view, everyone. You'll see everything from our theme park right over there, Gröna Lund, Kastellholmen, Skeppsholmen, and the oldest part of our city, Old Town, up ahead. It's truly gorgeous here. You'll also see a lot of tourists standing and taking photos because most tour companies stop here so that you can get a look of our city from this angle. It's the right way to see it. By Andy Warhol, for example. That's the small, alright, okay? Not a bus. So driving down streets like this gets a bit tricky, but it's worth it for this view, I think. And here we see a bit more of a regular boring bus, and wow, what a car! Right now we are in Stockholm. This is one of the sort of trendiest neighborhoods. So if you're spending a few days in Stockholm, take a walk around this neighborhood, you know, find a record shop, find somewhere to have brunch, and I think you'll enjoy it. They're also constructing a new gating mechanism here called a sluice. Because like I told you, we have sort of salt water on one side, fresh water on one side, and we have a sort of a water elevator to help the boats get into the harbor. So they're building a new one right now in Södermalm, in Slussen. And this is our sort of seafaring hotel where all the captains stay in between driving you on your boats to where you want to go. I think here is a record store. No, I did tell you this was like the trendy neighborhood. You'll start to see the oldest part of our city, Old Town, where our city was actually founded. And we're gonna get there on a gold bridge. And this bridge is called the Gold Bridge, but we like to call it the Corona Bridge to remember when and where it was constructed. Because it was constructed sort of 2020 in China. And so this is our Gold Bridge taking us to the oldest part of our city right over there. And you'll sort of glimpse our city hall where we have our Nobel dinner. This is also one of the many stops on these SL boats, these ferries, public transportation stops. So if you want to go around the city for cheap, you can buy a bus ticket and hop on one of these boats. Also everyone, you guys start to see some flags flying up ahead right over there. So it's actually our Queen Sylvia's 80th birthday. And so that is actually sort of the Norwegian king's ship. And he's visiting our city to congratulate our queen, because those two royal families are good friends. Our crown princess got married in 2011, so we have a lot of royal stuff going on as we approach our palace. Also, keep a lookout for that statue. That's Gustav III. We call him our culture king, and we'll talk more about him later. Didn't hear anymore. They moved out in the 80s to a place called Stockholm in if you want to go visit their real home, you can catch a ferry here and go for a day trip. But yeah, our palace is really beautiful. It actually used to be a different palace here that burned down. So when we rebuilt, we made sure we included 608 rooms specifically, because we heard that Buckingham Palace only had 607 rooms. And we thought, you know, we could finally have like a one-upper on England. So 608 rooms in this beautiful building. I think they do tours as well.
Ah, okay.
And that is actually where in 1901 we hosted our sort of first Nobel dinner, if you guys are familiar with the Nobel Prize. And that is actually where our colleagues stand and sell tickets to Ocean Bus. So you'll see some friends of ours getting ready to have another tour. If we ever see sort of another bus out driving, we like to wave as much as we can to them. Wave goodbye to the palace, because now we're going to be heading towards Stockholm for the start of our tour. Also, as we sort of do this tour, keep a lookout for how people react to us. Right here, they're so sick of us, okay? They see us every 30 minutes, every day, so they sort of just go like, ugh, another Sunday, why are they here? But as we get more towards Djurgården, they're going to start waving, it's going to be a better time. So once you see that, start waving back. It's a good time. Okay, I'm just going to see what I can see from here. I was keeping a lookout for a ship that's actually the oldest ship in the world still in use. Usually it would be docked right over there, but today it seems to be out on sort of a little drive around the bay, which is quite cool actually. And are you guys familiar with sort of the movie Schindler's List? Yeah, it's sort of about this man, and he rescued Jews during the Holocaust, 1,200 of them. We have a Swedish man that also did this, Raoul Wallenberg, and to your left is going to be a monument to him. He saved 120,000 Jews' lives during the Holocaust. And so that right there, those little sculptures, they're a monument to him, sort of appreciating his work. National stage, Kungliga Dramaten. And something cool about this place is that the statue we drove past earlier, our culture king, he actually founded this place. And so he founded it in 1778, and it actually puts on about 1,000 performances a year. So if you're a theater buff, I really recommend going and catching a show here. There are truly some wonderful actors in Dramaten, and throughout the years we've had names like Greta Garbo and Ingrid Bergman take to the stage. And now we have some great up-and-comers, so don't miss that whilst you're here. Birger Jarlsgatan. Remember I said that Birger Jarl founded this city in 1252? So this street is named after him. Now it's a fashionable high street. You see, we have everything from Tiffany & Co. to Louis Vuitton to Prada to Chanel. We have it all. And that is good, because as you're going down this street, you're approaching the nightclub mecca of our city, okay? We're approaching Stureplan. And that is a place where you dance. How, you might ask me? Well, I'm gonna show you. So us Swedes are not known for our dance moves, but we have some of them. This one, you put your hand up in the air like this. If someone wants to do it with me, you wave it, yeah, you wave it around like so. This is the whisk or veabam. We also have a different one. These are all to do with your arms. This is the elevator, Hissan, yeah. All about sort of low effort, high reward. If you get tired, just switch your hand. You can do this for hours. And if you're super brave, you're feeling like you can handle it, you can do this one. Yeah, I have some like nightclubbers here. I appreciate it. And this is a Swedish DJ that we love called Avicii. Thankfully for me, that's all the dance moves I know. To your right, you'll see Sturehof. And this is an institution that's had its doors open since 1897, okay? And in this restaurant in the 1920s, two men went for a crayfish party and actually came up with the idea for the car Volvo, if any of you have heard of it. So that's where we get Volvo from. And this mushroom here, called the Mushroom in Concrete, is a meeting spot in our city. So if you go to the club, you do the dance moves I showed you, make some friends, you tell them we meet at the Mushroom, we see something, and they know where to meet you. Which is our Royal Library. Something cool about this building is everything that's been published in this country for the past 400 years has a copy inside that library. So that is quite special. We also actually have a statue in this park of Linné. He is right down the middle there, and he's sort of the man that classified everything. He went around and classified flowers and everything like that. And so we have him to thank for a lot in biology. Does anyone know what sort of we use hops to make? Because this park is actually named Hops Park. No? We use it to make beer. And the reason then it's named after something we used to make beer is because the king actually used to grow hops in this park to make that. And they tried it in 3 different cities, it wasn't a hit. And then they said, you know what, we'll let Stockholm have a go. And so we had our Olympic Games in there. And they sort of thought that, you know, it would be a one-off. We'll let this small little country try it and then we'll stop these games. But it was such a success. It was sunny the whole week. It went so great that we call it sort of the Sunshine Olympiad. And that building is the oldest Olympic stadium still in use in the world. So it's quite special to us, which is why we point to it, even though it's so very far away. Okay, I'm gonna try to find a nice song as we drive down Karlavägen in the eastern part of our city. Welcome to Östermalm, everybody. This is sort of the fancy area of our city. And you'll see that in the buildings. Look at these facades. They're fancy, you know, the ceilings are a bit higher. But this whole area actually used to be a slum area called Ladugårdsgärdet up until the late 1800s. So since then, it's made quite a drastic transformation. Oh look, a dog! You'll see a lot of dogs here. We sort of have a thing about Stockholmers that they have dogs, or Östermalmare, they have dogs that are treated very, very well. Better than most children. So in my next life, I kind of want to be a dog in Östermalm, actually. And it's not because I want to dance again, don't worry. We're actually getting really close to Östra Real, the big brick building to your left. This is where the DJ Avicii actually attended high school, and he's the one that we were, you know, dancing to earlier. And he's such an integral part of our city because, you know, he's made some great hits and we love him so much. This is where he went to school. Also, I know Prime Minister are going to, so, you know, we have diverse alumni. Do you guys like football? Yes. Yeah? We actually have sort of a famous footballer living in the area, just a bit up that street. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, if you know him. So he lives in this area, and I always try to spot him. I haven't seen him yet, but one of these days, you're gonna have to help me keep a lookout, okay? Okay, I want you to keep a lookout to your left, alright? So you're gonna see Karlavägsfontänen. And this fountain is quite special. It shouldn't be switched on right now, because we actually turn it off every June. Because in Sweden we have such a specific tradition. When our high schoolers graduate, we put them all onto trucks with lots and lots of beer, and we drive them all around the city. And without fail, every year, our graduates try to go swimming in this fountain. I actually saw this 2 days ago. It always looks so insane. You see a bunch of students in their white hats, sort of a bit drunk, swimming around. And so we missed that today, but I think they're gonna have to switch this one off again, because it really is sort of an issue. And right next to it, this brown building we call the Strindberg House, and that is because both the playwright August Strindberg and the director Ingmar Bergman, who you might know from movies like Fanny and Alexander, lived at that address. Coming up to the right, this is our history museum, and in here you can learn about Norse mythology, you can learn about Vikings, or you can even see some gold artifacts dating back to 400 years after Christ, okay? So there's a lot to see in this building right here. But if history is not your thing, don't worry, we have 100 museums in the city to keep you occupied. There, blowing the horn, you'll see Heimdall. Look, there's a bird on the horn. We like to call him the father of mankind. We also have the fertility goddess, Freya, the goddess of marriage, Frigg, and sort of over there, Thor with his hammer, Mjolnir, okay? He's sort of the god of thunder, flying around in the sky, protecting the other gods. Right actually in front of the Nordic Museum, where we're gonna maybe drop you guys off later. I'll have to check with the captain. But if you're incredibly bored by this, don't worry. But if you want to learn more, just walk right up to the History Museum and you can learn all about Norse mythology and our Norse gods right there. Also, to your right, you'll sort of see a police car, right? That's parked in front of the Israeli embassy because of sort of what's going on in the world right now. And that embassy sort of marks the start of the diplomatic city that we're going to be driving in soon, where you see most of the embassies here in our city. Also, to your left, that pink house is where the DJ Avicii actually grew up. Like I said, Avicii is everywhere in the city. Street in the diplomatic city to have a look at the smallest little statue here in our city. He's so easy to miss. He's right over there wearing a hat that our captain actually knitted for him. That over there is Alfred Nobel on his own street overlooking his own park. Nobel dinner, you know, in Grand Hotel, and now it's held, you know, in our city hall. So this is the man that sort of started it all. And he's in front of the Hungarian embassy, but not everything is about him.
Okay, I will take a picture of it again.
Keep a lookout to this White House here, the British residence. It's the only one out of these 12 villas that's retained the same owner since they were built. And it's right next to the English church. That's the smallest little church here in our city. Everybody? Okay, then our captain is just gonna get in the seat and we're gonna get ready. And be so careful with that phone so you don't lose it. Yeah. Hold on to it carefully, okay? Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
And 3, 2, 1, let's go, Pia. Oh, hold on to your phone, be careful. Whoa. Is everyone okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm happy to hear it. Everyone's doing okay? Nice. Then welcome to the beautiful Djurgården, everybody. I always get a bit nervous for that part. Because, you know, we're not the only amphibious company in the world. They actually have one in New York. But that one had a big budget. So when they sort of go into the Hudson, they lower them on an elevator. We're like a small company with a small budget, so we just sort of put that thing out there and hope for the best. But it went good today as well. Alright everyone, I want you to keep a lookout to your left for that little wooden house up there. Because if you're here in Stockholm, there's one place you really have to go. Sort of in the late 1800s, during the Great Industrialization, there was a man who got very worried about these beautiful old Swedish buildings being lost. And so he went all around in the Nordic countries, buying up these old beautiful houses and displayed them all up there in sort of like a mini Sweden. So I say, whilst you're here, go to the Outdoor Air Museum and look around. And now, I did promise you you'd get to take some photos, some videos. So we're gonna place somewhere in Stockholm, let you enjoy the scenery, and I'll be back with you in about 2 minutes. Give me a shout if you need anything. Alright everyone, after your little mental photos and actual photos, we are driving in the beautiful Djurgården. And I remember saying earlier that, you know, we have some of the most museums, you know, in any city in the world. And one of them is actually coming up to your left right now. That's the Nordic Museum. And it's a great place for you guys to go and learn a little bit about our culture. And something cool about this building is actually it has one of the largest rooms in all of Sweden, excluding churches. So it's quite grand and it's quite beautiful. And I just wanted to know, did you guys want to be dropped off in front of there later? Or was it Strömkajen? Did they tell you anything?
I don't know.
No? Okay, the captain just asked me, so we know. But if it's there, then it's a beautiful place to look around. And now, where is Djurgården? I've been saying that a lot. Well, Djurgården actually means animal yard. And this is because this whole place used to be the king's hunting area. So you can imagine sort of our old royal family walking around killing, you know, everything from wolves to deer here in Djurgården. And it wasn't until the 1700s when it opened up to all of us so that we now get to enjoy it and take our walks and enjoy. And you'll see some blue gates up to the left over there. Those are sort of a reminder that this whole area used to be gated, used to be private. Unless you were the king or his men, you weren't coming through here. And I'm gonna play some music again as we approach Djurgårdsbron. Does anyone have a song request? No? Okay, then we're just gonna play some stolen dance. You'll also see that it says 897 on the bridge. That's when it was constructed. And we get a way better view of sort of both Thor and Freya right now. You'll also see some animals on the blue gate. That's also just a reminder that there used to be animals running around all over for the royal family to kill here. Oh, also, I did tell you we're gonna sort of see our friends in the other bus, so wave as much as you can to them, okay? All are waving hands. Alright, that's my colleague David. And they're driving right in front of these pedal boats. I really recommend sort of renting them out and going to explore the city on your own. And remember I said 1/3 of our city's water, okay? So these two restaurants here, Djurgårdsbron, Strandbryggan, something like this is the perfect place to enjoy our city and see the water for yourself, enjoy a nice meal. And as we drive along Strandvägen, you'll see a lot of boats parked. Another cool thing about Stockholm is that about 1 in 6 people actually own a boat. So you'll see a lot of them here. Like I said, our city is so much on the water. It's quite beautiful. Okay, as we turn, I'm sort of gonna switch up the songs because today, like a lot of days, we did not become a submarine, which is extra impressive if you think about that this whole thing actually used to be a truck, like a regular truck you'd see. Marine, okay? That can't be said for all the ships that have taken to these waters throughout the years. Keep a look out to your left. you're sort of going to see this red building with a bunch of masts. That is the Vasa Wreck Museum, and in there is a boat that became very unintentionally a submarine in 1628 when it set sail for Poland, but didn't even make it past the theme park that you'll see over there. It sunk right to the bottom of the water, where sort of the cold climate and our sort of slightly sweet water preserved it in such a state that it can now be refurbished and restored and displayed right there. So it's well worth a visit because it's like one of the only ships from the 1600s in the world in such good condition. And if we turn around a little bit then, what are we going to start to see over here? We're going to start to see Ship Island. Now this is where our old naval base used to be here in the city. We moved it after, the events of Pearl Harbor. We got really worried that it was so central. So now it's in this place called Muska in our archipelago. But this is still a lovely place to go and visit the Modern Museum of Art right over there, where you can see everything from Picasso to Salvador Dali. So that's well worth the visit. You'll also see the Nordic Museum from a way better viewpoint from here. And then you can really see how large this room is. Okay, I want you to keep a lookout on your right hand side for the flag flying up there on Kastellholmen. That is our peace flag, and as long as that is up there, we know that we've not been invaded by a foreign power. It is right next to my favorite theme park. That over there is our oldest one, Gröna Lund, and I recommend going on all these fun rides. But also something fun about this theme park is that back in the day, you had to be rowed the whole way there. So remember when we were in Old Town, you would sort of have to go there and you would have to get in a rowboat and be rowed all the way there. Because remember the bridge we saw? It's at 1897. This is from 1883, so there was a gap where you couldn't get there unless you wanted to swim or get in a rowboat. Also, I really want you to pay attention to these ships outside of the Vasa Museum because they are part of the museum itself. Do you see this sort of gray one right over there? That is the oldest sort of ship that we still have on the water from World War I. And so that's quite cool. So it's well worth a visit this museum, especially if you're interested in ships. We can also sort of see your Viking ship that you arrived on from over there. That's pretty great. Was it a good journey?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be a bit tired though. Travel for long. Let's say we have a lot of museums here. If you have kids, we also have the Toy Museum on Ship Island, which could be worth a visit to go and sort of see the history of toys, how kids used to play back in the day. But if that's not your thing, we also have something that's quite good for kids. Junibacken, coming up right there, the yellow building. Is anyone here familiar with the author Astrid Lindgren? No, she's a great Swedish author that has created characters like Pippi Longstocking. And if you go to this museum right here, you can meet her characters, go on a storybook train, and sort of step into your favorite fairy tales. It's quite special. And if you were ever in doubt about how much we love this sort of children's author, Astrid Lindgren, in this country, all you need to do is find a 20 kroner note, like the one I have right here, and you'll find her on our money. And also her character, Pippi Longstocking. Why have old kings on your money when you can have your favorite author? I also want you to keep a lookout to your left for these two towers right over there. Those are the King's Towers, and when they were built in the 1920s, they were the first skyscrapers in Europe. So they're also quite special right over there. And I think maybe we need to get the energy up. Let's do some Macarena. one. As we pass by Strandvägen, keep a lookout for these beautiful buildings. I'll talk a bit more about them later. Here they took over 30 years to finish construction on. We wanted them to look like palaces, and I think we succeeded. Or if you're sitting here and you're thinking, Stockholm's nice, Strandvägen's nice, maybe I'll get myself a place. It costs about 300,000 euros per square meter. So, whew, yeah, I agree. So maybe we enjoy it safely from the distance of the water, and we sort of drive away with ourselves and our wallets from the street under this lovely Djurgårdsbron once more. Pick your own favorite, you're free to. My favorite is that one right over there by the Royal Motorboat Club called Siesta. I think that's such a lovely name. And these boats parked, they had to wait for 25 years just to park here in front of the Nobel Park. So they are persistent. We sort of have wheels on our boats, so we don't have to get in lines like that. It's a big advantage. And he actually had 355 patents to his name when he died. And so he wanted to use that money for something good, and so he created the Nobel Prize, which we of course hand out in this country every year, except for the Nobel Peace Prize, which we hand out in Norway. But we're still sort of very proud of this as we pass the diplomatic city and the Nobel Park. So this is someone's house. It's one of only 2 privately owned villas here in the diplomatic city. And when it was sold back in 2001, it went for 70 million crowns. And at the time, this was a record for the most expensive house ever sold in Swedish history. And I can understand why. Imagine that being your house and this being your view. It's crazy. Actually also going to enlist the help of James Bond because he always does this and it seems effortless. So some James Bond music, some holding thumbs, and it should go well, hopefully. Alright, now the captain is going to press a button, the propeller is going to stop spinning, and these wheels are hopefully going to grip the ocean floor. Are you guys holding your thumbs? Okay.
I'm holding my phone.
Okay, everybody, we made it back safely onto land. What a relief. Okay, so like I said, we're just gonna pick up some sound, guys, and then we'll be back on our way. You'll also get to see sort of how this works when we lower down the stairs. It's all very dramatic. Oh look, and it's another bus. That's perfect. Then we sort of get to see them go into the water, and you see how it really looks from an outside perspective what we just did. It's quite fun to see them go into the water, okay? Alright everyone, but to celebrate that we survived, you'll also start to see sort of a tower coming up to your left. That is actually the tallest sort of building here in our city. It's called Knästornet, and it's 155 meters, 170 if you count that thing on the top of it. And it has some truly great views of the city. Most museums in the world here in Stockholm per capita, so please find one you enjoy and go explore. Yeah, the police museum as well can be quite fun. There's a police park as well, which is quite fun, you know, if you have kids. I remember babysitting a kid that loved going to the police park. So much fun. So we're again passing that's where I said our military unit used to practice before going out to war. And it used to be really fun to watch them practice back in the day. So they actually built sort of a little pink, like little house up there for the ladies to watch as everyone sort of played out to war there, you know. Getting also a closer look at the beautiful U.S. Embassy here. United States of America. Okay, I'm actually going to switch songs here because we're approaching one of the many concert venues in this city where they've played throughout the years. So as we turn, a building is going to come into view, Berwaldhallen. This concert venue actually seats 1,300 people, but you'd never know from looking at it. And that's because we actually made sure to build it 2/3 underground, so that the beautiful scenery here in Djurgården would not be ruined by this massive concert venue. It also helps with the acoustics that it's built so much under the rock, sort of. Alright everybody, we're now driving along the beautiful exclusive streets down the wagon that we saw earlier from there in the water. And because of its sort of expensive and exclusive nature, we've had some Swedish celebs living on the street through the years.
Wow.
So remember earlier we passed both the smallest in the state 11 Grand Slams. I'm going to point to his door when we pass. And finally, we're going to play The Look. Because if anyone knows the band Roxette, they had this song as their breakout hit in 1989, and Per Gessle from this band, he still lives on the street, okay? So we always try to play the song as loud as we can in case we manage to sort of lure him out of his apartment. So let's see if it finally works today, or if he moves away. It must be so annoying for him because we go here every 30 minutes and we always play this song. You know, he lives on the streets. Imagine hearing your own song every 30 minutes. Also now we're going to pass Strandvägen number 9 right over there. That is where Björn Borg that I said earlier used to live. He also actually impressively won 6 straight Wimbledon championships, like in a row. So he was a pro. And here you will see it says Fjäderholmarna. That is one of the many islands that we have in our archipelago. So we actually have about 24,000 islands, okay? It's quite cool. And you can get a boat to visit some of them from right here. It's really special about Stockholm. Alright everybody, I mentioned Ingrid Bergman, quite fittingly, we're about to pass the national stage once more. This time, keep a lookout to the far left corner for a statue of a woman with a very shiny nose. Do you see her? That's Margareta Krok. She was an actress from this theater, and when she heard she was getting a statue made of herself, she said, no way. Statues, they're cold, they're gray, they're boring. She was none of those things. So we made her a statue which we heated from the inside. And as a result, it gets cold in this country. Swedes, they go and they warm their hands on her stomach. And actors, they go and touch her nose before a performance for good luck. And so she's standing there in the spot she used to have a cigarette in between rehearsals. And I think that's quite sweet, actually. So if you get cold later, go warm your hands on Margareta Krok.
Yun yung 7-Eleven, oh. 7-Eleven.
In love with the beast. This is sort of a term within psychology, actually, for when that happens. And we get it because of something that happened where Acne Studios is today, but where in 1973 there was a bank, okay, called Kreditbanken. And there was an armed man that went in and took hostages for 6 whole days. And the Swedish police back then, not trained to deal with this, so the poor hostages ended up getting more comfort from their captors, with one of the women even falling in love with one of the captors and sort of advocating for him later on. And so that's where we get that term in psychology from. I'm gonna keep playing Roxette. And right now, we're actually driving past the very oldest park here in our city, okay? So this is Kungsträdgården, which means the king's yard. And this is where, you know, our king used to go to train all his animals and, you know, grow crops and stuff like that. But now it's a lovely place to have a stroll around a beautiful fountain and in the springtime see some beautiful cherry blossoms.
Wow.
How are we seeing yet another ocean bus? There must be more of them than I know. They must be hiding these somewhere. I promise you, we really only have 3. Right right over there under the red building, because we are actually the only country in the world that have cannons pointing at our own palace, okay? And we're gonna drive past it again shortly. You remember I talked about this earlier. And we're gonna listen to some Waterloo once we do. Also, this used to be a different sort of palace called Stockholm when it burned down in 1697, okay? Thankfully, the wind was blowing that way towards Ship Island, so Ship Island burnt with it. If the wind had been blowing the other way, a lot of these buildings, okay, would not be here, because then our city would have burned down. So thankfully, the wind was good on that day. Alright everyone, keep a look out to your left for our beautiful parliament. So we hold elections every 4 years in this country, and that is where our parliament sit. It is also where, have any of you guys heard of Greta Thunberg? She's sort of an activist for the environment. And in 2018, she stood outside this building and she said, I'm striking from school for the climate. And she started sort of the School Strike for the Climate Fridays for Future. And finally, I want you to have a look to the smallest little island here in our city. That over there is Strömsborg. It has 1 house, 3 trees, 2 flags, and a great view. So today we've sort of seen, you know, the smallest theater, the smallest little island, the smallest statue, and the smallest church. So a lot of the smallest things here in Stockholm. Alright, so we're nearing the end of our tour. I've really enjoyed having you guys on board today. If you also enjoyed this tour, please leave a review. My name's Clara. The captain is PA or PA. If you did not enjoy this tour, my name's Astrid. That's Sven. Keep this in mind. Also, if anyone would like to leave a tip, I always steal his hat, so someone can do that. And when we disembark, just be careful so we can get this to be safe for you, okay? And now we're stopping, so thank you guys so much for today. Enjoy the rest of your time here in our city.
Thank you. Thank you.
Where's your magic hat?
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ang galing. Ang saya.